Lawyers suck. Let's be real. They are no fun. They are absolutely awkward and weird at parties. I mean, in billable hours, having to deal with them, get into the fortress of an office, it's just a mess, right? Now, obviously, I'm an attorney and I am bringing you guys this information. I am not your typical attorney, but I do want to walk you through the ways that many lawyers do suck so you can avoid them. Because if you're going to take the time to really invest in legal protection in your business, whether it's the legal triad for liability protection or owning your brand or employment issues, you want to ensure that you not only are getting quality legal services, but you really are having someone that's going to be on your team, someone that you can look to and grow with. Because one of the most common mistakes that I see that entrepreneurs make, besides putting their head in the sand and completely ignoring legal, is that they try to check the box and just move on. And I get it. Legal is no fun. Even as an attorney myself, I don't necessarily want to deal with it all the time. I would rather be doing things like this and growing my businesses rather than having to deal with legal stuff that I could have prevented from the very beginning. Now, don't get me wrong. I obviously love teaching legal, but the reason for that is because at the end of the day, we all want to go home. We all want to be able to live the real life that we want to live, and you're not going to be able to do that physically if you're tied up dealing with legal stuff. Financially, if you're having to invest in cleaning up legal issues. So please listen to me as I walk you through the tips on how to hire an attorney and really find a good one, because we don't want a lawyer that sucks. My name is Rachel Brinke. I am a business consultant and intellectual property attorney for entrepreneurs, and I love talking about all the things that are legal, but like I mentioned in the intro, I'm not a fan of having to do cleanup in my own businesses, and I don't like it for any of you either. Now, you obviously know I have tons of episodes and resources on legal stuff that you can dig into, so make sure that you do that. Get a checklist in order of the things that you need to do. We've got an episode on that as well. But I can throw all this information at you, encourage you to go get an attorney, have lawyer-drafted contracts, get your intellectual property stuff in order so you can own your brand. But finding the right lawyer to be on your team is very difficult. Now, I will say, bravo to the legal industry, because I have been doing this for a hot bit. When I first started out, there were not many that have also been an entrepreneur like myself. They're still kind of few and far between, but it's important when you're going to get into business, get an attorney on your team. You want them to understand what you're going through, that they've been in the trenches. And unfortunately, many attorneys, less now, but still super common, many attorneys have never run a business, if they've run one at all. And even then, it's probably not been anything but a law firm. Why does this matter? This matters because if they are not in your industry, if they are not been there, having to do what you're doing, bring up a contract, explain it to a client, anticipate the problems, anticipate the questions, they're not necessarily going to know what to put into your contract or what to advise for you. All right? So the first thing is we want to look at an attorney that has an entrepreneurial mindset or has at least been an entrepreneur themselves before. Now, don't get me wrong, and lawyers, please don't send me any hate mail saying, oh, I'm a fantastic attorney. It doesn't matter that I've never been an entrepreneur. Okay, but there is still an element of you don't know what it's like until you've been an entrepreneur. I'm sure you do fantastic work in drafting contracts. I'm just giving the big recommendation to entrepreneurs, all y'all. If you can find a lawyer that has worked extensively with entrepreneurs and has been one themselves, you're going to get a better, well-rounded service, and you're going to be able to talk to them in such a way that is not just focused on the one very specific thing that you're offering. Which brings me to point number 2. Don't just go and find an order taker. Don't just go to someone that has been referred to you by a friend, but they're just simply there, like you walk into a restaurant and they go, okay, what are your legal needs? No way. Yes, my clients come to me and they may have a very specific copyright infringement or trademark registration or brand protection question, and we flesh that out. But it's extremely important as a lawyer for entrepreneurs that we're looking at the big picture of things. We don't want to be just so narrow-minded and narrow-focused. So when you go to look for an attorney, Ask them the questions and also listen to what questions they ask you. If they're only taking your order like you're going down to the Mexican restaurant to get tacos, my favorite, and that's it. They're not offering to ask other questions or to see where you're going in your business or any of that. They might not be a good fit. Why is this important? Well, they may not truly be anticipating the growth of your business. If you have not discussed your business plan with them at all, and they have not really asked about it either, they're not going to be able to craft and provide resources and recommendations in a way that's going to be most effective for you. And not just legal protection. We want to be on the preventive side of this because it is cheaper and easier to do it before there are issues. And third, obviously, we want to be looking for a business attorney, and more specifically, one that can deal with intellectual property. IP, intellectual property, is all your brand. It's all your content. And in this day and age, we are putting out content by the bazillions, legit number, by the bazillions every day. So when you're going to look for an attorney, please don't say, hey, my dad has a friend who's a real estate attorney. I'm going to go down there and have him do my trademark registration. You only get one bite of the apple there. You want to make sure you have someone that knows what they are doing. Think of it like a doctor. If I break my leg, I'm not going to go to a cardiologist. So it's very important that you not only look for a business attorney, but also one that has a intense knowledge of intellectual property, because all of this is together in business. You cannot have business without having IP. Maybe you're one of those that's like, nope, I just want to worry about the business formation, get my contracts, and go on my way. I don't care about owning my brand. Okay, great. But what happens one day when you want to sell it? Or what happens when your stuff gets infringed or a bad reputation is imparted upon you because you have the same or similar business name and consumers are no longer coming to you because someone down the street with the same name is doing really bad things? You're going to then want to have a relationship with someone that knows intellectual property. In fact, let me run through with you exactly how I do this in my firm. Not going to give you guys a hard pitch on this. You can Google me. I'm the only Rachel Brinke on the internet. I'm happy to take all of you. We're very heavy in copyright and trademark, but I want to give you a little context of what I have found that, we do, and also what other really good attorneys for entrepreneurs out there do and what they run through. So we obviously want to start with, what type of business entity are you? Do you have business insurance, and what are your contracts? I refer to this as the legal triad. It's the legal triad that's going to limit your liability. I have another episode on it, so check that out. I flesh that out a bit more. Then I also like to dig into the 3 keys of brand protection, making sure that it's been signed over to you if you didn't create it, or as an employee that didn't create it for you. What can we copyright and what can we trademark? Which I have another episode, 3 keys of brand protection, to flesh that out for you. So I'm looking at this not only just in the legal triad, the brand protection, but I'm going to ask questions like, what is the long-term plan of your business? Do you intend on adding additional services or products in the future? What does that look like? And we work through all the things. And in fact, this is really a good starting point for you to think about even before you go to an attorney. Take this checklist that I'm giving you now and write down, where are you at in each of these steps, and where would you like to be in the short future, and where would you like to be in 5 years? Let me give an example. Right now, you might be a solopreneur. And so your legal structure that you choose, you're offering one product or service, your contract's going to be very, straight to the point, but maybe in 2 years, you're planning on having a bunch of staff, planning on offering all sorts of products and services. That is a question and thing that you want to talk about. We can go ahead and choose to get you into a very specific business entity, LLC, corporation, etc., and also the way we draft our contracts, so you're not having to completely redo it 2 to 3 years later, because not only is that a financial pain, but it's an administrative pain as well. And another point I would love to make, and I think y'all as entrepreneurs would be really keen on this, see about buying into and investing and getting into a relationship with an attorney that not only you connect with, but also that you're able to manage your budget around. I am the first to say, and I say this to my lawyer friends all the time, that we We are stuck in such an archaic type of industry and profession. It's all about the billable hours, don't know how many hours something's going to take. And there are specific things in business, like if you're doing a buy sell, a merger, or all of that, that might be very intricate and require billable hours. But I have found myself as an attorney working and consulting and strategizing with other attorneys when they're doing business and IP related issues to help you guys, they can really do flat fees. What does this do for you? You know going in how much it's going to cost. You know that up front. And here's a good point for me. Maybe this is going to be a little hashtag Rachel's rant. Please do not simply buy into an attorney based on price alone. We've walked through all of these steps so far of what you want to look for because so many do suck and not have all that for you. But you want to also look to their expertise and understand that this is an investment in your business. This is not the time to be cheap. Now, I'm not saying you need to go buy and invest in the most expensive attorney out there, but really important that you're getting something of value. One of the most common things that I see attorneys do, and many business owners do this, and you can leave me a comment, we can push back, we can have a good conversation. I always love a good debate, but there's this idea that all attorneys should give free consultations. I have found that to be completely ineffective for small businesses in that typically how a free consultation structure works, you come in, you schlep on in, you go through traffic, you do the rat race, you come to the lawyer's office, and they show off their fancy little office, you tell them all your needs, and they go, okay, oh yeah, we can help you. So it's going to be a $5,000 retainer. You get actually no tangible takeaways in that initial meeting. Like I mentioned before, myself and many attorneys who are very keyed in knowing that your time is valuable, our time is valuable, and we want to give you value, will pay for like a 30-minute, 1 hour initial consultation. Obviously, after making sure that they can even help you by you submitting stuff online, etc. But that is so that you'll walk away with an actual full comprehensive direction, whether it's on that one very specific topic or like running through the high-level business audit that I gave you earlier. So what are we taking away from this? We are going to invest in, and after we've done all the other steps, right? We're going to invest in a quality attorney so we can walk away with a legal plan. From there, you as the CEO, the head of your company, the entrepreneur that is in charge can then make the strategic decisions where you're going to put your finances next. Think about it this way. When you put a little cash out to get a whole legal plan set out for you and a structure, seeing it in phases and what you need to do, you can plan. In the inverse, these other old school law firms that have you walk in the door, they do a free consultation, but they're not really giving you anything of value. They may tell you, okay, I'm taking your orders, let's do this one thing. And then they're going to try to upsell you the next step and go, okay, want you to do this thing and that thing and that thing. And yeah, they could be serving you because they're identifying issues, but what does that do for you? That does not allow you to financially plan out for your business and make the proper investment. All right. So what I'm recommending on this step is look for those that provide flat fees so you can manage your budget, and also recommend investing in a good initial meeting that's going to give you the full legal strategy, making sure they ask all the right questions, they understand you as an entrepreneur, you connect with them and all of that, then move forward. Even if it is a couple hundred, up to $500 to have that connection, that is something that I would rather you invest in, get some value out of, and even if you learn that that's not the attorney for you, it's better to make that lesson on a $500 meeting than a $5,000 flat rate that was sold to you after a quote-unquote free consultation that didn't give you anything of value. So as you can see, I've given you a lot of reasons why lawyers can suck, but I hope that you see the structure here of how you can really dig in and find an attorney that is going to help you. Because that is the thing at the end of the day. It's not a one-time, let me get my contract done and never come back. You should be intimately working with your attorney on a regular basis. Especially as entrepreneurs, we're going to get questions from customers or clients all the time. Laws are going to change, things are going to happen. You want to already have an existing relationship. I'm not necessarily saying you have to go buy in on a subscription or retainer-based model, although that's wonderful to have a lawyer at your fingertips that way, but at least have created a relationship before before you have problems later on. We have people that come to the firm, people meeting entrepreneurs all the time who simply want to get the legal strategy. They don't necessarily have the money right then. We do that initial meeting. I'm able to give them all the pricing of what it would look like going forward so that they can plan, and then they come back around when they're ready to execute into those stages. That is so valuable. I encourage each of y'all to do that. Hope this helps you. Please feel free to leave comments. Let me know your thoughts, or maybe some horror stories that you have had with other attorneys, and because I could do some episodes on things that you could have looked for or what you could do in the situations, because I really am here to help entrepreneurs. Best of luck, and I'll talk to y'all next week.